I've been working on the media industry, especially on social media, around 6 years down the road. And here's the things that I want to tell you. You might be wondering that you've created a personal brand, but what makes your brand to be remembered as magnetic as possible? So today I'm just going to share with you my own experience and how I implement whatever the things that I've learned in the corporate world to my own personal brand. And I also help a couple of my clients in the insurance, in the B2B business, how to actually standardize and make use of the brands just to amplify it, to make it become so magnetic that people just lean towards you. Now, when you want to develop your own personal brands or you have built your own personal brands, it's time for you to amplify your personal brands. You need to find your identity. Each brand have their own set of identity. If I tell you about Adidas, is the colors white actually reflects Adidas? You will tell yes, man. Right? You will tell me yes, the color of Adidas is white. But if I tell you, what if white also reflect with Nike? Then you will say yes, obviously. So that means that the color is not belong to a particular brand. It's not unique to their own brand. You can use a colors that you love for your own brands. Just associate it with your own brands in a more unique way. So Adidas make a 3 stripe in their logos and the name specify Adidas. But for Nike, instead of just write it off and tells Nike, but what they do is actually they write it off and just state, just do it. So that's actually the differentiator between Adidas and also Nike. Because when I tell you, just do it, you quickly remember of Nike. But for Adidas, it's not going to work, right? People just remember Adidas, the 3 stripe, the 3 stripe that have similar colors, white. Along the way, they try to reinvent the wheels. They try to put some colors into it, but it completely doesn't relate with people. And as so, they go back to their original version with a 3 stripe as white in white color. So this actually tells you that your brands can change. Your own company and personal brand can change in time. So don't be too stressful on this. Don't be too rigid that when you think that you want to make your own personal brands to become so unique, you want to be as perfectly as possible on the first try. No, change is constant. Where change is constant, you need to be innovative as possible. If you don't follow the trends, you might be left behind. But sometimes, you don't need to chase the trends. Your identity alone will move towards the trends. So, basically when I learned about branding on my corporate world, I learned about colors. I learned about how to amplify certain subject, how to make use of certain influencer, certain way of speaking, just to relate with your brands. And this is the way that is going to amplify your personal brand even further. So you might post it around maybe 30 to 50 videos. And when you see your YouTube's homepage and you see your thumbnail, is it organized? Is it a reflection of your brand? Because if your thumbnail and your brand is not consistent, then people will not remember you. So brands is actually the things that will make people remember what you for. So you need to understand this. When talking about brands, it's actually not about a brand per se. What's the logo? What's the colors? No. But it's actually the way that people will remember you. When I open YouTube's on Diary of CEO channels, I can see that there's a consistent colors, yellows and red. This is actually part of their brands. If they tells me a thumbnail appears Diary of CEO's names, but they use different colors, then I immediately will have a doubt in my mind. Is it true that this comes from Diary of CEO's channels? Similarly, if you watch MrBeast, they have similar fonts that they use for each of their thumbnails. And they have specific colors, so bright for each of their thumbnail. This is actually the brands of them. Same as like Ryan Trahan, they have the similar brand for Ryan. For each of the series, they have unique perspective on it. So you need to do this on your own. You need to find your own personalities. Don't try to imitate other people's. I know that. When people are speaking about brands, about coloring, you are try to look as premium as possible. But the thing is that whether you use gold or you use black, it doesn't relate. What relates the most is how people remember your brand. So once you choose your colors, try to stick to it. If you want to make changes, just make a slight changes, a 1% changes. If you have greens, maybe for light greens, you want to turn into dark greens. If you're light blue, then turn to dark blues. If you're white, then make it to gray. Then it's possible. But don't make a drastic change around it. Don't make your audience become so confused. Even yourself will become confused if you do not stick to your own routines. If you're a caffeine person, then you need to take caffeines every day in the morning. Just imagine that. For 365 days in a year, you take caffeine in the morning, but suddenly it's come to 1 day that you miss your caffeine. Will they become your bad days? Maybe yes. So similarly with brands, you need to become consistent as possible. So when you become consistent as possible, your brand will actually turn into something that people remember for. Sorry. So people have short memory lifespans. So the way that you make it so obvious, the way that you make it so transparent to them, is the way that they're going to remember you for. If I open your YouTube channel, if I open your Instagram page, if I open your TikTok, if there's no consistency between each thumbnail, each videos, then I can't gauge what is your channel all about. What is your Instagram page all about? So you need to be as consistent as possible. Need to be as consistent as much as possible. Because it reflects your identity. It reflects your personality. It reflects your way of talking. It reflects how you connect with your audience. When you watch my channel, I didn't cut out all of my bluff because I want to relate with you as a human being. I'm not a perfectionist. When I'm talking, sometimes stumble. When I'm talking, sometimes I don't know what to talk. So I just keep it on all of my videos because I want to make it so transparent to you. Because that's what my personal brand. And the way that you're going to think of this is like when you choose a font to become your subtitles, when you choose a font and coloring for your text, just make it consistent. And oftentimes you'll find that you want to change because you're not related to it anymore. Then you can change it. People evolve over time. You don't stick to the things that you don't have passions anymore. Am I right? But here's the things. When you make changes, Adidas and Hormozi has said that each changes will actually decrease 20% of values. And you need to stick to it and push it up until you gain your 100% again. So whenever you want to make some things, whenever you want to change some things, try to think it, whether the change will actually affect your brands, will people perceive your values being changed, the way that you deliver your presentation change, whether it will affect your entire personality. Just think about that. And to be honest with you, the one important thing that you don't need to change is you. You are your personal brands. You are your ambassador of your companies. You are the face of your companies. You are the face of your careers. If you want to elevate your careers, you are the one who wants to elevate your careers. People want to know about you. So don't think too much about fonts, about colorings, about structures. Just think about how you deliver your presentations, how you talk to your audience, how you express your emotions, how you dress up as you are. Because that is your own unique perspective. That actually reflects you and that actually makes you unique across all the people outside there. I hope you get so much value. Stay tuned for the next video.